Hey folks, Katy Stoll here, representing and speaking for every single person on the planet who has a uterus.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Oh, it is. Group text. Okay, so for starters, don't get me wrong, access to reproductive health affects everyone. In fact, even people who can't get pregnant are often able to cause pregnancies through this technique called and most well-adjusted people, when engaged in this, actually care about their partners and their health and their rights and so on. That said, the most severe consequences will, of course, fall on those whose uteruses are being meddled with, especially when it comes to their health and especially when it comes to the most vulnerable people. Because you know America's slogan, kick 'em while they're down and then piss on 'em, home of the brave, or something like that. The Texas abortion ban, for example, is going to disproportionately affect low-income, immigrant, Black, and Hispanic people. Black women are also disproportionately likely to die as a result of pregnancy. But of course, the health risks of restricting abortion will impact everyone with a uterus. Being denied access to abortion is linked to worse health outcomes because the risks of childbirth are far greater than any risk associated with abortion. In the worst case scenarios, people die giving birth. One study predicted a 21% increase in pregnancy-related deaths following a national abortion ban, and hundreds more women dying per year. And that would be even greater among the Black population, where pregnancy-related death would increase by over 30%. And we have known this since 1976, when the CDC found that restricting access to abortion increases the risk of death for the patient. And not only does the US have the worst maternal mortality rate compared to other rich countries, this rate goes up even higher in states where there are restrictions on abortions. In fact, it's over 50% higher than in less restrictive states. Not to mention that the states most likely to ban abortion already have higher rates of maternal mortality than the rest of the United States to begin with. In the 12 states in which abortions are restricted and are likely to be restricted further or banned outright, maternal mortality went up 38% due to those restrictions. And states that lack Planned Parenthood clinics saw an increase of mortality by 8%. All of that is to say, it seems like if you actually valued life, you would be concerned about those numbers and wonder why some states seem to be killing mothers way faster than other states. And this isn't exclusive to the United States either. Pretty much every country with abortion bans regularly kill women because of those bans. The WHO estimates that of the 67,800 women who die from abortion complications each year, 67,500 of those are in developing countries with restrictive abortion laws. And even when we're not talking about people seeking abortions, these laws tend to kill women who are experiencing complications during pregnancy. There are just so many heartbreaking stories about women dying because doctors didn't want to break a law to save them. Stories which, buckle up, I'm about to tell you right now, and warning, it might piss you off. It should piss you off. In Ireland, fetal heartbeat laws prevent doctors from performing abortions or inducing miscarriages unless they could prove that there was a threat to the mother's life. 31-year-old Savita Halapanavar died from a wanted pregnancy because, while doctors determined miscarriage was inevitable, they were too afraid of breaking the law to induce the miscarriage. Savita died of septic shock and multiple organ failure. In Nicaragua, 22-year-old Olga Reyes died after languishing in pain at the hospital for hours due to an ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancies, by the way, never viable. But the ban on abortion and potential prison sentences they faced made doctors fearful to treat her. In El Salvador, 33-year-old Manuela didn't have an abortion. She fell ill, went to the hospital, and miscarried. Instead of receiving care after her traumatic experience, she was handcuffed to her hospital bed and charged with homicide, despite the fact that it is typically impossible to tell the difference between an induced miscarriage and a natural miscarriage. Manuela died 2 years later of cancer while in prison. In Poland, 30-year-old Isabella died after her water broke early at 22 weeks. Despite it being legal in Poland to conduct an abortion in cases where the mother's life is in danger, doctors feared they wouldn't be able to prove this and wanted to wait for the baby's heart to stop inside of Isabella. Despite her pleas for help, Isabella died. She left behind her 9-year-old daughter. Poland, like the US, once allowed for abortion, but in 2021 enacted basically a total ban. As we learned from Isabella's story, even though it has exceptions for the life of the mother, when doctors can face severe legal repercussions, they may delay treatment until it is too late. And now, they have a pregnancy registry, which can be used to track women who are pregnant and potentially investigate or even imprison women whose pregnancies end in miscarriage, much like the case of Manuela in El Salvador. In Brazil, abortion is illegal, and while, yes, there are exceptions for rape or risk to the mother's life, the far-right Bolsonaro government has introduced a regulation that requires doctors to gather evidence and report to the police anyone who comes to them for an abortion after being raped. Human Rights Watch points out that this is clearly meant to discourage rape survivors from seeking abortion, fearing arrest if the investigation finds that they weren't really raped. Anywho, that's just a few of the stories. And now you probably understand why I felt the deep, burning need to punch my way through Cody's wall.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.